So I think we can wait for a minute or so.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I think we will get started now. Good afternoon, everyone. It is our pleasure to welcome you, each one of you, to this interesting webinar, a panel discussion on the career prospects in logistics and freight forwarding industry. Joining me in this afternoon on the discussion are people, stalwarts from the industry and experts from the academia. I take this opportunity of welcoming Mr. Shankar Shinde, Chairman of the Freight Forwarders Association of India, Mr. Tej Contractor from the Freight Forwarding Association, Mr. Nirav Thakkar, Mr. Tarang Maru from Freight Forwarders Association, and I also have the pleasure of welcoming my colleagues, Dr. Dipankar Sinha, an expert in logistics and supply chain management, professor and head of the research division at IIFT, and Dr. Raghuveer Negi, who is also my colleague at Indian Institute of Foreign Trade. I take pleasure in quickly informing about how IIFT has been shaping the uh, international business scenario in the country. Since 1963, we are a premier think tank, teaching, research, consulting organization in the country and helping many organizations expand internationally. This webinar is, to talk of an interesting program that we have been working on designing with the help of Indian Institute of Freight Forwarders, a wing, a section set up by the Freight Forwarders Association of India, since they have been futuristic and looking at meeting the demand for the professionals in the industry. So those who are here, we will be talking of how professionals can actually lead this industry today. And I'll be asking questions, but before that, I request Mr. Tarang Maru to share certain instructions, certain rules, which are maintenance and hygiene rules for making this webinar, this panel discussion, an effective interaction. Mr.
Thank you
Tarang
very
Maru.
much. Thank you, Dr. Sharma. Thank you everybody for joining us today. Welcome to this webinar. Few hygiene points just in terms of procedure that makes everything more comfortable for everyone. When this will be an interactive session, however, please, when you're raising questions, we'll have both written and verbal questions. For the verbal questions, we request you don't write the questions in the chat box. Please use the Q&A tab that's available on your Zoom screens. As for if you want to ask us any questions over voice towards a later part in the session, simply raise a hand. Our secretariat team is there to assist. They will grant you access to the audio controls, and you'll be able to raise your question at that proper time. Besides that, simply this is going to be primarily the individual speakers discussing the matter and the panel having a discussion on the matter. Feel free to ask us any questions you have on the subject. Looking forward to a wonderful session with everyone. Thank you so much. Back to you, Shah.
Thank you, Tarangji. So, the first question that I would ask our expert, Dr. Dipankar Sinha, to quickly tell us about how does the export growth trend in India is impacting the logistics and freight forwarding industry. What emerging trends do you anticipate in the next few years, Dr. Sinha?
Thank you, Dr. Sharma. And this is a very pertinent question to think and put our mind when we talk of logistics as a professional business unit. We have seen that the growth rate of India's economy is more than 6%. And we are expecting to jump our total gross domestic product from 3 trillion US dollar to 5 trillion, and that is a mammoth task. In this context, there are various schemes and policies that the government has initiated and laid down. And of them, the very important ones are the productivity linked incentive to incentivize exports, the growth incentive schemes for MSMEs, those who are contributing to 40% of the Indian exports and even more. And then there are schemes such as zero defect schemes to improve quality of our products. And also we are also aiming to boost our Make in India scheme to ensure that we become the manufacturing hub of the world, because we have already taken the place of being a service hub. Our services are growing leaps and bounds. So merchandise are also being targeted with different facilitating programs undertaken by the Government of India. So, and in merchandise, without the logistics being in place in the right manner, following the right practice and at the right price, exports cannot be materialized. So this is the ground reality, and that actually sets the tone for why logistics industry is so important.
Your voice was breaking at the end, Dr. Dipankar. But that's interesting from you to know that as a service, logistics and freight forwarding is contributing significantly to the movement of the merchandise. So my next question goes to Shankar Bhai from FFAI as to how does the association, the freight forwarders, they facilitate the trade volumes, domestic as well as international, Shankar Bhai?
Thank you,
Exactly
Dr.
is the role.
Sharma. Thank you, Dr. Sharma. Congratulations. Good initiative, great initiative.
Thank
And
you. Thank
looking at IFT, it's not only related to management and only theory part, and how interest you have taken in the country's international exposure or the international growth with related to EXIM cargo is really incredible. And you have been playing a very important role in educating India in the international trade. So congratulations. Also, Dr. Dipankarji, it has been always great to be associated with you and the institute, and good learning, new learning which has been coming up, making it interesting for collaboration approach. Let me come back to you when you are talking about this domestic and international. See, finally, for any international product or any international services to be competitive, you have to be competitive enough in the domestic. Unless you don't have the internal structures or internal infrastructure in place or effective, it will not leverage the international product. So for that purpose, you see the government is coming up with various projects like MMLP, the ports, the coastals, and the inland waterway system, which makes more effective for the movement of goods. And when the domestic and international cargo, which moves across, it makes more effective because economies of scale plays a very important role in reduction of cost. So such volume cargo within internal movements reaches our international cargo to the ports, which makes it an international. So that is where we see that this is a very important aspect where the domestic role will play in the infrastructure in connecting the dots of the international. Coming to the international, yes, we are still lack in the infrastructure product, where the government is taking the initiative, and also we have seen that we need our own airlines or shipping lines to have, but at initial stage, at least starting with the ground realities, infrastructure creation within our India, which is in our control, the government is taking great initiatives. Now, what we find that there is a big gap between the there is a big gap between the theory and the practical aspects of it. So we need to connect that. And that is where we find that we will come up in playing a great role in interconnecting both the things.
Thank you, Shankar Bhai. That's wonderful to know about the expansion, futuristic plans of the government and the contribution to the domestic and international trade made by FFAI. My next question goes to Tej Bhai to enlighten us that if there is a shortage, already a shortage of professionally, technically, and professionally qualified human resource in the industry, logistics and freight forwarding industry, and if yes, then is are there attractive career opportunities to make a career in this industry? Some snapshot of that, Tej Bhai.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sharma. That's a very relevant question. So, a few years ago, there was a report by the HRD ministry saying that there's going to be a 30% skill shortage in the logistics sector. And this involves everything from, transport all the way to exim. The importance of India in the global market and the number of companies that are going to be setting up here have certainly uh, effectively probably outdone that report. So we are going to see great career prospects. In addition to that, policies of the government have made the relevance of skilling very important. We have compliances that have come into play. So if you are not up to the mark, or if you've not done your homework, it is something that you could probably undermine and get your customer into trouble. The opportunity in the logistics space is immense. We have seen that in the recent past, as an association, we've seen an increase in requests from institutes, both India and abroad, where we've seen, everyone never looked at supply chain as a really serious subject. The disruption that took place in COVID have have effectively given importance to the logistics segment. Also, the fact that while the world stayed safe and stayed at home, we, the logistics industry, ensured that everyone got the essential supplies where and when they needed to. Uh, I think that there are great opportunities coming in the logistics industry. Some are already here and many more to come. So those who are a part of the webinar and have relatives in the space in the logistics industry, or have the next of kin entering, uh, please focus in that area. I'll leave with one last thought. I recall over the last 20 years when we had sessions, uh, we all said that logistics has never been an industry of first preference. In less than 4 years, the tide has changed and everybody wants to enter the field of logistics in some form or the other. Thank you.
So thank you, Tej Bhai. When everything had stopped, still this industry kept things moving even during the pandemic. So, in one word, I am getting that movement is what the business is all about. Yeah. moving things. So, Professor Raghuveer Negi, could you quickly tell us how IIFT, Indian Institute of Foreign Trade, can help equip the professionals with the right kind of attitudes, skills, and knowledge to play a role, critical role, or join the freight forwarding industry, logistics industry? Raghuveer.
Thank you so much, sir, for asking that. IFT have been always, it has been especially in during my academic career when I was pursuing my PhD masters. IFT has been always in motivation because IFT, that institution which promotes international trade academically as well as through industry collaboration also. So in IFT here we cater this market requisites in international trade in 3 to 4 ways. First way is we provide these regular courses, which is called MBA in International Business, where we provide young and dynamic leaders, I would say, to the various multinational companies and firms based in India who are engaged in international trade operations as well as the domestic operations. Like through placement, if we say that in international trade operations, the companies like Maersk, ETG, Dreyfus Company, they hire candidates, managers from IIFT. And if we say through sales and in marketing domain, from Samsung, Titan, Tata Steel, and all these big companies, they come to IIFT, and that's how we cater the market request. I mean, the supply needed, manpower supply is needed in the market. And through executive MBA also, which we take as a weekend classes here in IIFT. And here we design the industry-based curriculum and hand out the advanced perspective of management to those who are already engaged in the industry and familiar with the management operations. And we provide, IIFT also conduct management development programs where we design a dynamic system-wide training program to enhance and strengthen the leadership ability and ensure that the participants can advance their skills, knowledge, and resources to the effectively lead, engage, and develop their team skills. And through certification program also, we provide short-term courses specifically designed for working professional on weekends via hybrid mode in collaboration with trade associations, bodies, ministries, and industry experts. So that's how we cater the market requisites in IIFT.
So thank you, Dr. Raghuveer. Let me ask Mr. Nirav Thakkar, Honorary Secretary of the Indian Institute of Freight Forwarders, as to, do you think that the logistics and freight forwarding industry in India is changing drastically, like any other industry, with automation, technology? I mean, the question is that, do you think the 21st century logistics and freight forwarding is not conventional? It's very different, and the future demand is going to be different. Nearby.
Yes, Dr. Sharmaji, thank you very much. And first of all, as I said, as Chairman Sir has mentioned, that this is a great initiative by IIFT, and we are glad that this information about freight forwarding and logistics is being shared across, and I'm glad to be part and sharing some information. So yes, absolutely. In fact, freight forwarders per se, if you say this, it's part of the custom brokers, part of transporters. Now, they are actually engaged in every aspects of moving the cargo internationally. So if we talk about right from origin, they connect with the shipper, they arrange the pickup, they handle the custom clearance part, arrange for booking on the shipping line or the airline. Once it arrives at destination, freight forwarders are involved with custom clearance and delivery part till the doorstep. So, as if you look at a freight forwarder per se, now a broker typically, if you know a transport broker or a freight broker, they are typically only arranging, not taking possession of goods, but they are just organizing things. Whereas a freight forwarder, being a part of all this chain, actually also takes possession of these goods. if you look at a shipping line is moving cargo from port to port. So freight forwarder per se is completely involved with the whole aspect of logistics. And if we just give a few numbers to what our industry is, freight forwarders across India are somewhere close to around about 7,000 freight forwarders, but these companies, and they employ more than a lakh of employees, but they are involved with handling more than 95% of the global trade. So considering that magnum amount of activity which is involved, it really has a great prospect. And if we look at the Indian freight and logistics market, it's currently estimated at around about 280 billion US dollars in the current year, and which is poised to be going up to 400 plus now in the next 5 years. So as Tej sir has also mentioned that there is a gap of skilled people. But 21st century, the way things are moving, this industry was per se a specific to operations aspect, as I mentioned, the activities, but it's going more to a knowledge based, because now with the kind of government initiatives, with the kind of changes and updates which are happening, it's very important for a freight forwarder or a logistics service provider who is knowledgeable about all the aspects and providing that information to the importers and exporters. So knowledge has become the prime aspect now with the industry, key information being updated. So it's like, how lawyers are, they have to be updated with information. Even freight forwarders, custom brokers, this logistics service providers are required to have that update. So I feel with so many compliances also coming in place, the India looking at a bright future in exports. Uh, this industry is way to go for, and at the same time, information knowledge sake is very important to be aware of. Uh, I hope I've been able to guide you with, I mean, give the proper information on the
Yes,
question.
yes. Yeah, yeah. In fact, Niravji, interesting that you are talking of the knowledge part of the professionals working in the industry. Yeah, so Dr. Sinha, coming back to you, if you can quickly tell us something about cost imperatives, because you see, logistics movement, even if they do not take title and move the merchandise, facilitate as an agent, in that case, how customer service and cost trade-offs are achieved, since transportation and logistics is multimodal today.
Thank you, Dr. Sharma. And this is a question that needs to be answered in a multidimensional fashion, meaning that, logistics is about addressing the 5 R's. R means right, that is the right form, wherein we see there is the right quantity shipped in the right condition, in the right place, at the right time, and at the right price of the cost, following the right practices. Now, when we talk about the right time, the conventional idea of sending the goods is to send as early as possible. But in today's world, everyone is conscious about all kinds of cost, including opportunity cost. So if I want my goods by 30th of next month, I may not be happy if it is delivered on the first of day of this month, because I will have to incur an inventory cost of 29 days. At the same time, if my goods don't get delivered on the 30th, by 30th, my production or my sales get stopped, and I am having a dissatisfied customer, and I lose my business or I lose my goodwill. So the time window within which the goods have to be sent is of prime importance. Now, this time window may be such that if I send it by the fastest mode, I can meet the time window very easily, but my cost goes up, because all of us know that if we move by air, cost is high, and if we move by any other mode of transport, the cost is low. So if I increase my cost, my total landed cost of my goods globally becomes very high, and I lose my competitiveness in terms of cost for that matter. Even if my quality is at par, I lose the cost competitiveness. So I have to then mix the modes of transport to see and optimize that I meet the timeline of my customers as well as I meet the cost optimization that has to be done. I cannot keep cost in the beginning because customer is prime and we know that everything is around the customer. So that is to be kept in mind. Besides, internationally, when you cross the border, it is not only that you know your customer, what they want, but also that you know your customer's country, because certain things may be allowed and accepted by the customer, but the country may oppose to it. They may impose some tariff and non-tariff barriers like anti-dumping duties and other types of taxes, import duties, and our goods become costlier. So we need to have a clear idea about what is the path through which the goods should move. And let me not hesitate to tell you that distance is not the only criteria, because we trade with a country which is farthest from us. That is, US is our highest trading partner. And we trade least with one of our neighbors, right? So physical distance is not about everything in logistics. We have to change our mind. And as Niravji said, that knowledge is important. It is about administrative distance, wherein all documents, tariff, non-tariff barrier comes into place. Then geographical distance, of course, matters, because longer the distance, higher is the price. And then the economic distance. I would not like to export when my currencies are appreciating to a very great rate compared to the past, because everyone wants currency to appreciate. But let me tell you, exporters gain when currency depreciates. But in long run, the exporters may be losing, because if they have inputs of raw materials like petroleum fuel, then in that case, the things may not be competitive. So I operate in an uncertain world, and my distance that has to be taken into account, we call it AGE, which is administrative, geographical, and economic distance. And let me tell you, economic distance is not about who is having what kind of GDP or purchasing power parity. Some country which has very high purchasing power per country, still we have opportunity to sell high value goods. Why not? So that's not the case. But the case is about the economic distance is high when the currency fluctuations take toll in our business returns. ROI matters. So maybe the least currency fluctuation is with the countries who trade in INR. So the economic distance between the two is least. So these are the insights that a logistics professional need to keep in mind to advise the sender and the receiver on whose behalf they are operating. So these are the things that world is now going into, and we need to ensure that at one hand we minimize the risk, and at the other hand we maximize the returns of our sales. So this is the challenge that we have, and that is what is important for us to look into and delve into. That is what is actually will lead to a knowledgeable logistics professional. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. So, Shankar bhai and Tej bhai, you can take turns and then tell us, because as Nirav bhai said, that currently the industry stands at about $280 billion, and if it is poised for growth, then I think in next 7 years, by 2030, I was also reading a Statista report, and that said it's going to be double. So if the business is going to double, say about $550 billion in by 2030, how does the association, Freight Forwarders Association, support the freight forwarding professionals who are yet to join the industry and those who are already in the industry? Because I want to understand, we want to understand the support system for newcomers into this industry. The demand is high.
Shankar bhai, after you.
Okay, thanks, Tejbhai. Anyway, Dr. Sharma, a good question. In fact, rather, it is a very interesting question, and it is very interesting for the next generation or the one who have not been in this industry or not aware of this industry. Let me
Yes.
tell you one thing. Till today, it has always been sort like when you don't have any other industry, then they used to come by in this logistics industry because when the image has been made built up such that when you say about logistics, they only see a driver driving a truck and not beyond that. But the logistics is far beyond that. And today you see the Indian 3 going on the space. We have logistics opportunities even on the space now. You can say in the so that is where the opportunity lies. And going ahead, let us understand one thing that there is a huge talent gap. And on the other side, we have professionals in logistics industry, and the other, and we have the talent which has always been on the researches which has never taken place in the logistics in the aspect of experiencing the ground practicality aspects, and that is where the gap has been created. And this is why we are looking to have the professional practitioners in collaboration with the institute where we can use the talent, research talents, and have some correlation as to how we can build a synergy to take logistics sector ahead. And when you say the logistics is the backbone of the economy, you know, and that is where even if today you see that the government has created a special department which has a special section under the Ministry of Commerce with the logistics division. So that is what the importance, and they have realized that without strengthening the logistics sector, it is not possible to achieve third the position in the global economy or even taking achieving the 5 trillion economy. So that is where the important lies, and the research's gap also has been created because the aspects of learning into this far different from what the professionals come for the learning into the industry. So that is where we are trying to build this gap, and today we see that this industry has been taken as a first choice of industry because till now it was by accident. Okay, you're not doing good in science, you're not doing good in commerce, you're not doing good in any banking. Okay, now this is the industry for you, leftover industry. So that is how the people have landed, or by hereditary, like since the fathers, forefathers have been in this business. So with the hereditary, this business going ahead, they have taken by default they have come into this business. By first choice, it has never been in this industry. So we are trying to create that awareness and importance for the industry for the next talent to come into this industry. That is where we find, and that is how we can build up this gap. So it makes very interesting, and this is the only industry, let me tell you, which has no limitation when it comes to boundaries geographically, when it comes to product, when it comes from stone to machinery, every product is important. When it comes to laws, every law, when you take about the partnering government agencies also, from food safety, drug control, phytosanitary, so all these regulation laws also need to be aware by this logistics industry. So when it comes to law study, when it comes to the geography study, when it comes to atmosphere study, when it comes to cold chain study, so in and out in the whole of the life whole system, this will give you that exposure. So the opportunity lies abundance. So that is where we find, yes, every person will have some of the other role to be played, whether he works with the manufacturer, importer, exporter, or logistics industry, or in the whole supply chain. That is what today we are trying to fill up. Thank you.
Tej bhai.
Yeah, Tej.
Yes. Sir, you have raised a very pertinent question, and Shankar Bhai added about Chandrayaan. Just to share, I was a part of the Incoterms 2020 working group when the revision took place. And there was a discussion in the working group stating that we should have a term for space as well, because we may see space travel before the end of the decade. So that opens up a lot of possibilities for logistics. As of now, they have decided to leave that for the 2030 term, but we are sure to see some progress there. Second is in terms of what the I mean, what's very interesting to see is there is actually thought, application, and a vision today. We have set a target that we want to achieve, which you mentioned is double of what is today in 7 years. An FD grows double in 7 years, and we want to grow business in 7 years. Now, in order to achieve that, we will need infrastructure, that is for sure. So we see the development and the vision for infrastructure with the Gati Shakti and all the DFC and all the projects that are taking place. In order to support industry, we have coastal zones which have been created. We have multimodal parks and industry-based parks which have been created. So that is creating, basically hard infrastructure. In further, we have seen the importance of e-commerce and digitalization globally, not just in India. So soft infrastructure has also been created in order to ensure that movements of large and small packages are both facilitated. Today, we saw, opening of packing credit to e-commerce products for export as well. It just came out in notification. And last but not the least, we need skilled, manpower. The emphasis, and I have seen this in the last 5 years. I still recall we had a previous special secretary logistics. Sir had said we are targeting logistics with a vision for the future. We are not targeting something for a program to be done today. We want to do it for the next generation. I must say, in 5 years, we have seen the progress made by the government in promoting logistics. We've seen Dr. Sinha, we've seen IIFT, we've seen a lot of emphasis with G20, not only focusing on, product or infrastructure or just India, but we are talking about manpower, which is relevant. So I think that the vision is very clear. It is not just saying, it's not just a thought, a saying, but there is also target-based goals that are going to help us achieve that. And I'm sorry I'm repeating this once again, but logistics today is an industry of first preference. What IIFF as an association is doing something very different. One, we are, we receive regularly requests for, people who want to, companies who want to recruit people from the industry. We see a lot of industries or companies recruiting people from homegrown programs, but they are not as practically driven. Our program, what makes it unique, and this is for everybody, just to set this program, which we are sharing with IIFT, there has been over, I think, 200, almost 200 emails which have gone in. A lot of depth has gone in effort by the, IIFT and the Triple FAI team, led by, Tarang, Nirav, and of course, under the guidance of Shankar Bhai. We've seen Dr. Sharma, Dr. Sinha, who contributed on content. We've gone to each topic module and said, what we should be teaching. We've even gone to the level of saying, we have we would like this to be practical. So core competence is maintained. You have today most of the department officers going through an IIFT program. And what better than having a public-private partnership in ensuring for a better India? Thank you.
Thank you, Tej bhai. Samir bhai, I think you would like to make a quick comment on, this question. Yeah, Samir bhai, because in the chat I saw your
Thank you.
response.
You started by asking about what the federation is doing and things, but I wanted to just bring in something else to the attention of all the teachers and the potential students over here. India today does about 53,000 consignments on a daily basis through Indian customs. And if India wants to be in the top 3, we had done a rough calculation when the earlier logistics secretary was there. And if India wants to increase its share of international business to maybe 7 or 8%, this 53 will have to go to at least 1,60,000 a day. And the 32 cities where we are doing EXIM logistics presently will have to reach at least 48 or 49. So that is the opportunity in terms of jobs and entrepreneurship for all the people who want to teach logistics, for all the people who want to learn logistics. And I'm sure IIFF under Shankar, Tej, Nirav and all, they are completely ready to help any educational institution anywhere in the country if they want to undertake education in this space. So I think people must recognize, because sometimes people do get confused with all the dollar figures and all that we talk about. But in real terms, we are talking at least a jump of 3 times the present volumes. Thank you. You are muted, Dr. Sharma.
I'm so sorry. Okay, I'm now on. Thank you, Samir Bhai. Dr. Raghuveer, there's a question in the Q&A from one professor, associate professor, Rekha Bhatia. She's asking, is there any scope for science students? How do we orient our students? Do we have skill-based courses? What is the minimum qualification? I think, and also, is it possible to go ahead with any certificate course? So, Dr. Raghuveer, you can answer these questions while you now talk about IIFT, IIFF, this curriculum that we jointly developed in consultation with FFAI members. Okay, due acknowledging the due contribution from Mr. Tej contractor, Nirav Bhai, Shankar Bhai, and everybody, and how this curriculum takes care of the requirements that we are talking about.
Thank you so much, sir. And this is in response of Rekha Bhatia, ma'am, I guess. So what is the first question I'll take? I'll take question one by one. That first you asked that is there any scope for science students? Yes, there is a lot of scope for science students in logistics and freight forwarding industries. In logistics, there are lots of machines are involved, big cranes, pallets, and lots of moving machines are involved. And there you need lots of students from engineering backgrounds and all. And how you can orient the students towards this logistics and freight forwarding industry. For that, there is certainly there is the need of awareness among the students, because all over India, if I can see, I have seen this MBA in logistic management course only in one university, and that is far away from here. And but we can certainly we can do is in IIFT we are providing this course, this certification course you are asking that, which is a kind of combination of academia and industrial collaboration. And this course, if I can introduce now, just share my screen, and it's a 4 months program. It's an online certification course where the classes will happen on Saturdays and Sundays. It's on weekends, and it will be entire day from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. The entire course, entire session will go on. In this program, mostly highlights of this program is it is an industry driven. There will be a 160-hour course in which 140-hour course is a interactive based sessions where the experts from FFAI, IIFF, and the lecture professors from IIFT, they'll take classes of the students. And there will be a port visit, 10-hour session of port visit. There will be a dissertation of 10 hours. And there is an internship also, 40 hours of internship, which will certainly which will cover the question on whether just it will cover the question of do you have some skill-based courses, right? So when the participants or when the students will enroll into this program, they'll have this 4-month internship, and where they'll get this experience in-hand experience, how the industry and logistic industry and freight forwarding industries work. And I'm sure in that how the booking has been done, in how the booking is done in ice-gate, how the port and port operations goes on, and how you move the goods from export houses to till port terminal, and how the shipping and vessel operations works. That's we are going to provide the participants and students in this certification program.
Thank you, Dr. Raghuveer. Tej bhai, you wanted to add to the earlier answer when Samir bhai said something. Tej bhai.
No, so I wanted to help add on to Dr. Raghuveer's statement.
Okay.
So I will say logistics is an art as well as a science. Usually or traditionally, commerce students always got into logistics. But why logistics is an art? Because it takes an artist to perform what we do, and what we do on a daily basis with documents. And it's not just engineering, but what we do with documents, studying, and the methodology that we follow is truly scientific. Thank you.
Sir, you have to unmute yourself.
So we are nearing the completion of this, the panel discussion, but there are a couple of more questions. So one, Miss Ami Kothari is asking that as per Mr. Sinha, there is a talent gap. How to bridge this? I think that has been answered now, because there are programs and we have designed one, IIFF and IIFT jointly, and in the program related questions can also be answered. So now let me ask Tarang bhai, would you like to say something about how we all, IIFT, IIFF, FFF, IA, all of us are equipping the participants to be a professional in freight forwarding? How are we doing that?
Sure, sir. Thank you so much. So just adding to the other esteemed panelists' discussions right now, the way that the industry has developed, I've only been involved with the industry about 10 years or so now, but it is a family business, so I've heard and understood how the various aspects play into the entire environment. The growth of knowledge-based requirements here has moved the entire industry's platform from being fairly unskilled, so to speak, or very limited skill or very specific skill, to a far wider approach. This program that's also been developed, that we've worked with IFT to help develop, focuses on variety of different topics. We're looking at an entire environment of material, not singular aspects, not purely CHA work, not purely freight forwarding work, not purely port operations work, but a lot of variety of different aspects involved here. Having understood the breadth that exists within our field, it's essential today to understand that knowledge is the entire game. No longer is it a matter of, oh, I'm a specialist in XYZ. Sure, you can be a specialist, but you can't be an MD without an MBBS, right? You need to have your basics in place and your specific career-based knowledge. And since this industry is developing so rapidly, the options that are there to learn this are relatively limited. Traditionally, it's always learned from somebody in the industry. Here, you get the benefit of approaching both an academic approach with IFT's mindset as well as industry approach through IFF's mindset. So this combination of matters has brought together what I believe is a syllabus of material that will truly encompass both the practicalities and the necessary understanding of the academics attached to this wonderful field that we have, this growing field that we have. And the need of the hour truly is to understand and get more people on board who understand this entirety of our industry. So all those points coming to place, this project, this course that's due, has taken due consideration and thought, and lots of discussions that have gone back and forth, Dr. Sharma, to try and develop the right types of materials, also focusing specifically on the need for certain degree of domestic requirements, coastal goods management, whether it be road transport. Multimodality has taken over this industry in a significant form. To understand how the interplay works out, this encompasses all those matters. So that's what I would say, sir, that it's been a wonderful experience to also work on this development, because it helps me also reflect on the various aspects that go into how we're doing it. And I highly encourage and invite people to be a part of this matter, because knowledge is the only way forward in this industry today. Just grinding through is not going to get you everywhere. Understanding the depth and breadth of this industry is something that is being offered to you through this course. So that's what I would have to say about the matter, Dr. Sharma. Thank you.
Sir, I would like to answer a few questions which has been posed in this Q&A session. Can I? It will take just 2 to 3 minutes.
Yeah, sure, you can do that.
There is a question like one of the participants asked about the fee, whether the fee will be the same for all. Yes, the fee will be the same for all. That is rupees 1 lakh plus GST. And another person asked, Manali Lande asked that, what is the minimum educational criteria? And the minimum educational criteria is graduation, and that can be a graduation in science or graduation in commerce. So all are eligible for this course. And I think that's the only question, most of the question. And those who wanted more information on this course and curriculum, and those who want to know about topics and all, as Tarang sir already mentioned, that we have covered a lots of topics in this course, which is related to logistics and supply chain management and freight forwarding. So those who wants the detail, they can drop their email IDs there. We can forward the brochure and the flyer to them directly.
Yeah.
And we will wait for another 5 minutes. We will not disconnect the call. Those who want the entire detail, they can drop their mails here, and we'll immediately forward the prospectus and everything, brochure and flyer to them.
Thank you, Dr. Raghuveer, and I take this opportunity of taking your time out, each panelist, and special thanks to FFAI. Despite being into business, it's a commitment to the cause of developing manpower, human resource for the industry, and looking to this burgeoning demand gap and the shortage of the professionals in the industry. Coming together of Indian Institute of Foreign Trade and Indian Institute of Freight Forwarders with the help of FFAI is a wonderful moment. And the program is a right blend of in-class knowledge sessions as well as practical hands-on internship with the freight forwarders and logistics players. And that will give an exposure, not only the exposure, but it will equip the participants to embrace future challenges and steer the industry through fair or foul weather. So, the only asset that any industry can be proud of and logistics has to be proud of is the qualified team of professionals. And since, this panel discussion brought out that there are hardly such programs which provide a pedestal or a platform to launch people into a career. Therefore, I think this is an opportune and right time to offer this kind of a certification. And please feel free to email, get in touch over telephone to the office bearers at IIFF as well as IIFT. This is why you raise your hand with the last word with by you.
Yes, Dr. Sharma, I would just like to first of all thank all the efforts that the IIFT team has made in making not only this webinar happen but helping us do a joint program. And one voice to everybody. You can see the passion across all of us in learning and training, and the want to share knowledge. Knowledge is power. That is one thing I learned from my late father. Someone can take away everything you have, but cannot take away the knowledge that you have. So please, you have a great group of experts led by Shankar Bhai and led by the team under Dr. Sinha and Dr. Sharma. Please take advantage of all the efforts that all of us have made in ensuring that we upgrade the skill in the industry. Thank you, Dr. Sharma.
Thank you everyone. Thank you Tej bhai, Neerav bhai, Tarang bhai, Dipankar ji, Dr. Raghuveer, Shankar bhai, everyone, all of you, those who are here, Samir bhai, and all the participants. And we are delighted about your being inquisitive and asking thoughtful questions on about the careers in the industry and what kind of prospects and things like that. So more details, you please go through our links, brochures, and the program structure. And still, if there are any queries, Ashapurna, Man Singh ji, Dr. Raghuveer, they will be more than happy to serve you with any kind of information that you're looking for the program. We will soon, in 10 days time, about to commence the program. Thank you so much everyone for being here today.
Dear Dr. Sharma ji, on behalf of Triple FA and IFF, it's a great initiative taken forward by you and Sinha sir, that today we had this webinar and sharing the information. Really appreciate the information that Sinha sir mentioned about the kind of growth prospects, and so very well, wonderfully taken this session, Sharma ji, today. And we appreciate from all of us at Triple FAI and our office bearers and board of advisors who have joined in today, as well as all the participants. So it was a great session, sir, and really look forward to. And Dr. Raghuveer ji, thank you for providing this information and answering all the questions of the participants. Much appreciated.
Raghuveer ji will still continue because he promised to the participants that he's going to
Yeah,
answer
yeah.
those questions.
We'll wait for 5 minutes, and I would request Man Singh ji to please note down their email ID or download the chats or Q&A if possible.
Yes, I am trying.
Okay.
So then we can log out. Raghuveer ji, is it?
I'll just wait for 5 minutes.
Yeah, you please be there. Yeah. Ashapurna will also be there. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Man Singh ji, can you download these email IDs?
I'm taking screenshot.
Oh, so
Download is not possible.
this Q&A also.
Q&A I have downloaded.
Okay. Chat, it's not possible.
So, sir, there are some questions in the chat section and in the question and answer section. So, will you be answering the question, sir?
Yeah, there is Kuar, sir, is asking that. May I ask? It's moving actually. The course is going to help someone working internationally because it's a hybrid course. You can attend online. So yeah, those who are working internationally or those who are in foreign, they can kind of join this course. I mean, they are eligible for this course because this courses we are going to conduct on online mode, and that too on weekends. I'm looking for course in supply chain and airport operation, vessel management. Yeah, we in this course it's Swapnil, I guess. Swapnil. I'm looking for course in supply chain and logistics and airport operations. Yeah, in our course curriculum, we have included the supply chain management, port operations management, vessel management, and all the port operations related activities we have included in this course curriculum. So this certificate program you can kind of enroll into, and you'll get as per your desire. Sandhya Shrikant, Yeah, we'll send you the brochure and this flyer in your email ID.
স্যারকে জিজ্ঞেস করে তারপর স্যারকে বলো যে গৌতম স্যার তো আসেন, তাহলে অন লিভ লিখে পাঠিয়ে দেবো।
So what is the schedule for freight forwarder course? It's a 4 months course. Classes will be on weekends, Saturday and Sunday, from morning 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Custom program learning diploma, 18 months from process. That's it, I think.
तो सर सारे क्वेश्चन आंसर्स के तो आई गेस हो गया ना
हाँ
कंप्लीट।
yeah.
और सर ये मैं भी मानसिंह जी को थोड़ा रिक्वेस्ट करना चाहूंगी कि सारे जो मेल आईडीज है ना, आप एक बार वो असेंबल करके, आप चाहे तो आपकी तरफ से या फिर वो मेल आईडीज आप मुझे भेज देना, मैं अपनी तरफ से इनको ना ब्रोशर मेल कर दूंगी।
We'll do that, madam.
हेलो,
We'll do that.
ओके ओके ओके। तो सर अभी एक और क्वेश्चन आया है अभी। आई एम बी ए प्लस, आई एम बी ए, प्लीज सजेशन इम्पोर्ट एक्सपोर्ट कोर्स, वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट एंड हेल्प।
Yes, you can Sachin, you can enroll into this certification program because the minimum eligibility of our certification program is graduation. So yes.
तो आई गेस सर ये तो कंप्लीट हो चुका है अभी। Is it possible to have the content of the course as it seems when we see the concepts and the education?
Yeah, it will course the it will cover this liner operation as well, how these transitor and forwarding freight forwarders work together during the logistics and international trade operation. Yeah, we'll share the content of the, not the entire content of the course, but yeah, we'll share the brochure where we have mentioned, I mean, all the topics which we are going to cover. I'm okay.
तो आई थिंक सर अभी कंप्लीट तो हो चुका है।
Mansingh Ji, did you got all the email IDs? Then we'll.
Yes, I have taken.
Okay. Should we wait for a few more minutes or?
Yes, because at least they have to leave. Then we'll leave.
पार्टिसिपेंट्स अभी 21 अटेंडेंस है अभी यहाँ पे। तो सर अभी 5 मिनट और होल्ड करें क्या?
Yes, we'll wait for 5 minutes.
ओके, तो अभी 5:05 है, तो अराउंड 5:10 को हम लोग लॉग आउट
Yes,
करते हैं।
yes.
ओके ओके।
Raghuveer ji, another one question is there.
Sir, I'm going interview and interview questions.
I'm shipping bill and wheel of
No,
entry
no,
and
no, sir. No, sir. Not this one. This question is in the chat section, I guess.
in chat
In the
section.
question answer.
Question answer is different.
But
Would
there
there be
be
any special thing for entrepreneurs? No.
no, actually the fees and selection criteria is
Okay.